you, sir. It is now 6:01 p.m. and I call this meeting of Fair Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. Please stand.
Please bow your heads. Gracious God, we gather today to start of this new school year, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin our work together. Bless our discussions and our decisions, that they may be guided by your Spirit and serve the best interest of our students, teachers, and the entire school community. Grant us unity, understanding, and a shared commitment to excellence. May this year be filled with learning, growth, and success for all. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. I just drove in. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for July 21st of 2025 and July 29th of 2025? I have a motion by Mrs. Martinez, and do I have a second?
I second.
A second by Mrs. Johnson. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Do we have anyone for public comment? Ms. Ramos? No. Okay, thank you. The first information item is Superintendent Performance Goal for Activity 1, Supporting Mental Health.
Thank you, Board President and Board members. So the first item we have tonight is to talk about, we've talked a lot about in the past of what we're doing with students, and that will come up again. But this one tonight is specifically the staff. And so you asked for me to separate what we're doing for students and what we're doing for staff. And so tonight, the goal is to talk about the staff. So some of the things that we have done is restorative circles for staff. That is staff coming together and discussing situations with district leadership during meetings and being able to share. And so we have done some of that and continue to do that and expand that. Telehealth services, we started that, it was slow to get off, but now we're seeing that's picking up a little bit more. We have telehealth health visits, but we also have where someone can talk to a psychologist and do that via telehealth if they choose to not want to do that in person, or if they want to do that from their home. And so that's a part of our insurance, and that was something that was added. Our school psychologists, even though their primary work is with students, we have had them work with some of our staffs, some of our members of our staff that have had situations, and so they have worked with some of our staff. Our social workers have also assisted staff that needed referrals outside. And so I have copies, and I'll provide these if you want to pass out some of the resources that we have. And so sometimes a staff member, do you have enough? Okay. A staff member will contact, and if you go to the second page, they'll need specific resources, and they don't know necessarily how to get in touch with them. If it's something with outside counseling, there is some areas and numbers and contacts that they can get. We also have crisis hotlines. I don't want to get into the specifics here, but there have been some crisis situations with some of our staff that the social workers or school psychologists have had to put some of our staff into contact. So they have worked on that as well. Campus department initiatives for staff. They do certain things at the campuses where they might have an area during their conference time, or before or after school, or during their lunch hour that they can go to, and specific lounges, that areas of rest and so forth. I talked to about the resources. One of the initiatives that, with Ms. Bento's, department, that they are, one of the school psychologists is starting, is a lot of people we've noticed when there's, on our Wellness Wednesday, if they have exercise tends to improve and, the mental health. So we're going back to, starting on Wednesdays, and then it could be more frequently, where we have specific times that they can walk or do Pilates or do different things like that for our staff. So that's something that is gonna be new. We do Wellness Wednesday for community and for parents, but we haven't really done that for staff, and so that will be something that they can get into. It's, you know, for staff, some people don't want to come out and share very much, and some people do. And so we have to respect that, but we also have to have support there when we have staff that need that support. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Superintendent, Torres, I guess my, question would be, what is being done in the area of raising awareness? I mean, let's suppose, the staff doesn't have any, issues, all of us have them. But even increasing awareness so they can recognize the need of the child. I see that everything we have there is mostly focus help for them.
Right.
And I think it would really help, for them to have, an opportunity to increase their awareness. Because we know that most of the challenges our children are having is due to the need for mental wellness. I mean, they're not crazy, they're not this, they're not that, they just need to be aware. The teachers need to be aware, not only with the students, but with the family. Something that doesn't quite, I was kinda hoping for as much time as was devoted to form that committee last year, that we would have a report of how did it work.
And this one, again, the way that the superintendent performance goes, this month was specifically for staff. But, I can bring back students, and what you're looking for is more what we have done with students and how that worked.
How have we improved it for
Yes,
this year?
I can bring that
What did we learn
back.
last year that's gonna help us this year?
Okay.
And I think one of the things that I saw in all the different activities that are planned, and even the ones we had last year, very little very little time or opportunity was given for mental wellness. And if you all will recall that presentation that, 2 years ago, with those people that came from another state, one of the things they wanted was for the family and the children, for them to be able to look at the classes online. They didn't, because a lot of, people get very sensitive about that. And so that program had that opportunity, that curriculum, and it was bilingual, where the parents could, at home, look at whatever class or whatever, section they wanted to look at. Because part of the problem that I see, and I was listening today to, Washington, where they're gonna have the policemen coming in and blah, blah, blah. And for whatever it's worth, I sent my little note to the president, that they need to, before they send all those policemen out there to take care of all the people that are supposedly high crime in Washington and what have you, give them an in-service on mental wellness to recognize it. Because that's so important. And that's the only thing I would like, if it's possible, for you to add to the support activities for the staff. An opportunity.
I may not do that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of Mrs. Torres?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The social workers, can you refresh my, memory, how many social workers?
We
do-
have one, and then we have one intern with UTRGV, with the grant that we have. So we,
And do we outsource as well? Like, do we?
No.
No, it's just intern?
yes,
Cause that, in the state of Texas, that's a high demand, lack of social workers.
yes, we have Shelby, which is ours, and then we have an intern that works with her.
And what about the ones that came from Pan Am? Didn't we have some that came from UTRGV?
That is the one that I'm
Oh,
talking
we
about.
only had one?
Yes. Now, our ACE program does have some that work, as well with the grant. But during the day, we basically have those two.
And she's still an intern. The
No,
one
we
from
have a
UT
social
or
work,
GB?
no, it's a new one. Every year it's a new one.
Ah.
It's their last year, they come and work with us, then they graduate and they go on. So every year we have a new intern. And so they have to come and they have to, as interns, they have to apply. They have to go through a interview and so forth, but we get somebody new every year.
But in our budget, we only have
One.
one,
Yes,
for the whole district?
yes, yes, yes.
Any other questions of Mrs. Torres? Thank you, Mrs. Lopez. The next item is Superintendent Performance Goal 5, Activity 2, Facility Needs.
So when we looked at our facilities, a lot of the facility needs that we're going to be talking about, this particular goal is not specifically bond, but we will incorporate some of the bond things that we are doing at the same time. I'm gonna talk a little bit about things that are not up there, but that we're doing with facilities. At the Lion Stadium, the entrance to Lion Stadium, some of the metal things were corroding and becoming a safety issue, so we removed that. So if you go by the entrance, you'll see that we had to remove that. We also put mini splits into the areas of the ticket booth.
Oh.
Because it was very hot in there, and so we had done the bathrooms a few years later, and we've done some of that. But as far as the bond goes, roof replacements, there's 4 phases. The first phase, they should be beginning this week. And so you can see on the second page, if you go on to the next slide, the first phase is about $20,000 of the bond, and the bond was a few $1,000,000. It's the replacements that we will go out for proposals, but the easy fixes for $20,000, we are starting those this week. And so where you can see a line, like at Sam Houston, there's one area that we are looking at with the roofs. And then if you look at WB Green, there's an area in the J wing that we are having to fix. Anything that's solid means that's a complete roof replacement. At Sanchez, you can see 3 or 4 different areas that we're having to do some roof replacements. At Dominguez, if you remember the gym, when we did walkthroughs, the gym had 2 swimming pools that were collecting water. That was not a complete roof replacement. That's an area that they can fix without that. So we wanted to go out there, and before the students got going, we wanted to make sure we fixed a lot of those areas that were easy. The next part, the engineers will be putting out a proposal, and that is what is gonna cost a little bit more, and that will take bids on it and come back to the board. But the easy roof replacements, and it came out to be about $20,000, and Mr. Cespedes, if you wanna talk any more about that, we are taking care of in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, so the company we're using is Tatco, and they'll be coming out this week and next week. And those are the ones that, like Ms. Torres mentioned, the ones with the red outline, except Sam Houston. Sam Houston is the final phase, that's for the wall repairs.
So,
What's the name
phase
of the
2,
company, I'm sorry?
Tatco,
TAT?
TAD, and then CO.
so phase 2 will be replacements at WB Green in the high school. At WB Green, the office and the building right next to it needs to be completely replaced, and the athletic dressing rooms, those need complete replacement. At the high school, it's the entire 700 wing, and then if you look at the other 2 wings, that's the history wing and the science wing. When we replaced the high school roofing about 10, 12 years ago, those buildings were not replaced, it was the main building. And so now we're replacing the 3 buildings that weren't replaced back then. And then if you go to Sanchez, I believe that is the C wing, and that needs complete replacement as well. So there are some areas that need complete replacement when the engineers came out, and they did that in the spring. Also, the paving, if you happen to go by today, the north side, which is gonna be the drop-off and the parking, that is completely done from entering. There's a space that they're doing at 5 a.m. in the morning, but that's completely, lines have been drawn, the U-turn is done, it is done in the back, so they're finishing the final touches, but everything on the north and west side will be done. The only thing that will not be done, which is the last phase, is the front of the school and then the parking. And so we put out a map They also sent it through the JoJo or that, so that the parents would know exactly how to come in. And so we will get them off of Canal Street, and they will bring them up. There's a place to drop off, and so there'll be 5, 6 cars at a time being able to unload the kids, and so we're ready to go there. And so we did have a meeting this morning with Mr. Moore, and he went out there with a few touches that he's having to address.
And we're letting the community know about,
We put it on social media to let them know. Right now, Eric, our goal is to have this up by the first day of school, and then we will have a town hall at the end of the month, the last week of August, where we will have, every quarter, we'll be meeting with the community about the bond. When the projects are done, we will also outline every bit that we spent on each project, so they can see exactly where the money went. Because the money for the bond is not going to anything except for the items that were on the list. There's nothing else. If you see other things being done around the district, that's our local money. That is not bond money. So at the end, when we finish all the projects, you can add everything up and it will come out to the 20 million that we did get.
What is the time frame for the roofing?
The roofing, do you wanna talk a little bit about the process of the proposals
Right,
and
so
that?
the roofing, like Mr. said, we gotta get, CSP, because it's gonna be probably, close to $100. So that will bring to the board. So the bidding process, the procurement itself takes about 3 to 4 weeks, because we have to have it out, advertised for 2 weeks, and then about another week for us to do the ranking and have a special call meeting if we're not able to fit it in with the next regular board meeting. And then once we notify them, and then them getting permits and getting the agreements ready. So it takes about a month before they would actually start work. And then we just have to make sure that, because it is roof replacements and while we're doing school, we're gonna have to make sure that we don't disrupt any classroom time, so we'll.
That's why, yes.
Is that also, like, Ms. Johnson was saying, is that, the percentage of completion also
Yes.
located on the website?
So it's going to be on the 13th when he puts it on. By Wednesday, you will have, and it will say it, like the paving is 65% complete. And so something is 0%, Marquise is 0% right now, or 5%, because we've met with Fulcrum and they're working with us on the Marquise and the awnings. And so, each of the individual bond issues will show how much completion and what we've done. If you look at the next one, we've also talked about the awnings, and the Marquise. We met with the engineers of Fulcrum to begin the process of the specifications for the structures and awnings. Because it is the area that we live in, everything has to be windstorm with the awnings, and so they're checking that. Then the baseball, softball, we had the survey done, we also had the geotech, and that came back. We had our first meeting with everybody and the architects, and our second meeting will be the 20th. Right now, in between that first meeting and the second meeting that we're having, the architects are going back and forth with the coaches and talking about specifics and things. Then we'll come back the 20th, we'll look at that again. We'll bring in all of the individuals, and then once we think that we have the specs of what we're looking for, then again, that goes out for bid. And so nothing, just like it takes about a month for that, by the time 2 weeks that it's sent out, who's going to do the work? I think, Ms. Katie, I was talking to you about that, and the question was who's gonna do it? We won't know until the proposals come in. But all we're doing right now is the specs of what we need to do. So if we have 350 seats for the baseball and softball, you have to have so many restrooms for how many seating you have and things like that. So that's what we've been
yeah,
talking about.
I just want to let the community know that we're doing the major stuff, before
Yes.
we start on the fun stuff.
Yes, and so this is just we spend every year about 15,000, 20,000 on dirt ever since we've had the field in the city. So we really don't wanna spend that money if we don't have to.
Right.
But if we have to, if it's not done, then we'll have to spend that. But that's something we've always spent because you've gotta take care of all that. And so those are the specific, and then if you go to the next one, the awnings, you can see we have awnings at the high school that's going to be in the back by the 700 and 800 wing. You also have awnings on the front of Sanchez, the front of Dominguez, and then awnings at Green. So at the bus turnaround, when the students get off the bus at Green, there's a walkway, there will be an awning there and an awning all the way in front of the gym, so that when students get out of the bus and go all the way to the gyms, they won't get wet. And so
Awesome.
that's what we're working on. And so that's pretty much what we are, where we are. We have started looking at, the other projects. We still have CTE, we have the auditorium, we have all the other different projects, and some of that is in discussion phase right now. We have.
Was the roof okay at the auditorium?
No, that
No.
would need a complete
Oh.
replacement. We didn't put Val here, but that is not priority at this time because there's no students there.
Okay.
So it's trying to take care of where our students are first.
The projects that are currently going on right now, there has been no delay, no, everything has kind of been on track?
Right, we knew for the paving, we asked for the north and west side to be done, and that should be done because we haven't had a lot of rain. We know that the next phase, which is 33%, which is the front and side, that will be done by the end of September, Mr. Moore said. So that's exactly what the contract said.
I had a question about the green on the buses.
Yes,
They go up and they're gonna be going up and down Willow,
yes.
and the entrance, is it wide enough for just one bus or two buses?
So that's a budget amendment we brought to y'all. We plan to only do one, but the city did ask us to widen it to 24 feet. We had it at 20 feet, but they asked us to widen it to 24. Willow is only 20 feet. So
Mhm.
actually over the ditch, it's 4 feet more than actually Willow Street. With Willow Street, we did have two buses go side by side and there was still space. So we know even if we had to on that, there's plenty of space.
We didn't look at going through Dukes after all?
We looked at that, we would have to remove the cars and then, the turn from here, they just felt like the bus drivers felt they would rather go down Willow. If we need to change that, we can.
Okay, 'cause when I spoke to them that day, that's not what they had said.
And that's
so.
what they communicated with us
Mhm.
when we talked to Mark.
So we're gonna expand it though to 4 feet more.
Yes, it already is there.
Okay.
If you go back there, it's already expanded.
And that's gonna take care of the turn coming in and coming out in that corner that we talked about?
Oh, you mean Willow Street?
Which one, isn't Willow the one that
Where
goes?
we expanded the all of our road that went over the ditch. That's what was expanded by 4 feet.
Mhm. But the actual, when they leave, they're still gonna make that turn to stop at the corner that we went and met
Yes,
at?
yes.
So we're not changing that at all?
No, we didn't change that one, they just removed the brush and things like that, but they stayed there.
Any other questions of Mrs. Torres? Thank you, Mrs. Torres. On the consent agenda, there are 5 items. The memorandum of understanding with the Niños Head Start program for the 25-26 school year, the July 2025 monthly tax report, the annual review of investment policy, the revised 25-26 T-test, the Texas Teacher Evaluation Support System, during appraisals, and purchase order worth $50,000, which is the renewal of finance and student software, the Skyward. Do I have a motion to
I
approve?
have a question, if you could please pull the memorandum of understanding with Niños, I have a question on that item.
Letter A? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the items B, C, D, and E on the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mrs. Martinez and a second by Mrs. Casas. All those it's been moved and seconded to approve B, C, D, and E listed on the consent agenda. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, say
Aye.
so. Motion carried. Mrs. Casas, your question
Yes,
on
the
the.
question on that one, Superintendent Torres, it said that the following services and efforts will be incorporated in this one agreement, and they specifically mentioned family engagement, in that area. How are they gonna?
They take care of that. They have a family engagement specialist, they take care of all that, they've always done that. They have so many family parent meetings they have to have, and so that is taken care of with Head Start.
You know, one of the goals they had for this year, 2025, was mental wellness at the national level for Head Starts. And I'm just wondering if you could just gently ask, you know, what is their plan? Because I know it's an incentive nationally. Everybody's kind of looking at that right now.
I'll ask
actually,
him.
the Head Start program is, looking into how they can enhance that.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question real quick. On the Skyward, the 69, there's a decrease from the prior year. Is that gonna be?
We
up?
approved that?
Oh, yeah, but I just want,
Right.
but that's fine, but I just wanted to have do you know that that's gonna be a reason why,
Yes, it decreased because we dropped that of areas we weren't using. And so that's why we had that decrease.
sorry. Cause I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I didn't see that
Approved
part.
already.
Yeah, we're.
No, I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning
Do
it.
I have a
It's
motion
it's
to
a good
approve the
program.
memorandum of understanding with the NEOS Head Start program?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mrs. Casas, and do I have a second by Mr. Briones? It's been moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding. All those in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 6-0. And the next items to consider and possible action, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the student code of conduct for the 25-26 school year.
Yes, good evening, Board President, Ms. Castillo, Ms. Flores, Superintendent, and Board members. Today, we present the 2025 Student Code of Conduct for your review. The 89 Texas legislature brought several significant changes to the Texas Education Code that directly impacted the student discipline, policies, and of course, it impacted our Student Code of Conduct. These changes stem primarily from House Bill 6, House Bill 1481, Senate Bill 326, and Senate Bill 569. Throughout the presentation, you'll see that some of the updates throughout the Student Code of Conduct are color-coded. The majority of the updates from Student Code of Conduct come from House Bill 6. I just want to really briefly go over House Bill 6 for you, is that this bill introduced several key changes, and one of them was the length of suspensions. It removes the mandatory DAP placement for possession of an e-cigarette and allows districts to establish virtual expulsion programs and disciplinary alternatives. So basically, House Bill 6 was all about disciplinary and expulsions and how we had to incorporate more parent input. We had to look at the disabilities of students when we make these decisions. When we place them.
So are they saying that you cannot, expel or put in suspension if they have that e-cigarette anymore? You
It's not
can't-
mandatory.
It's not mandatory?
Right?
So you cannot, two
You don't
years
have to.
ago, you had to expel a student that had that. Now you don't. It's DAP. It was like that last year. The only thing that they changed this year is if someone has an e-cigarette, it's mandatory that you do 10 days of ISS at least. So one of the things some of the schools did is like the first time that you had an e-cigarette, instead of sending them to ISS, they would do counseling, they would do other things. But the state made it mandatory of 10 days at least ISS. So that was a change this year. So you cannot say, you know what, you brought it, that was a bad decision, let's do some counseling, let's meet with your parents, but we're not gonna take you out of instruction, we're gonna keep you in the classroom for the first time. They do not allow that. With this new law, you have to do at least 10 days, and that's if it's not THC. Now, if it's THC, it's mandatory DAP.
But will they still do counseling?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and that's that, you have to do that.
Yeah.
But this is, you know, again, many schools, thought, and we thought that, you know, if you're caught with paraphernalia, if you have an e-cigarette, but there's nothing in it, maybe the very first time you don't go to ISS, or you don't go do that, we do that, but that's not, it's not allowed.
The goal in this was to bring in more counseling services, more parent involvement, and making decisions to.
Yeah, cause it's
Redirect
important to
their-
see maybe if there's some mental issues there.
Yeah, but if we only have one social worker, Superintendent Torres, how?
No, they do
how-
counselors, not the
Counseling.
social
And then we
workers.
also have.
Social
our-
workers work more with the families, and so do counselors.
But aren't our counselors more involved in academic stuff and what have you?
No, sir, no, ma'am, they have a combination, they're academic, but they also take care of other issues, it's not just all academics. If you look at their, I don't wanna say job description or what a counselor does, I mean, a lot of it is academics, especially once you get to high school, it's a lot of academics, but there also is when they talk to students and counsel them on other things.
Do they get out, yearly, I guess, in-service on the latest, on the mental wellness. I
They
did not
just went.
realize they did that.
They just went last week.
We just provided some, opportunity for them to attend some counseling on grief, on grief.
And they just went to
there's-
Region One last week.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot on the counselors. Okay.
Go ahead. Okay, so the next, House bill would be, any questions on House Bill 6? House Bill 1481, this requires school districts to adopt a written policy that prohibits students from using personal communication devices. You all remember last month, we took it to the board. Pretty much it just outlines the policy and, to the student handbook, okay? That's House Bill 1481. Any questions on that one?
What are we gonna do, with that? What's gonna happen at the high school? What are they gonna do with their little phones?
So they're putting them in their, turning them off and putting in their
They're
backpack.
gonna keep them with them?
Yes.
On their backpack, yes. And so there's 3 different steps, and so that is pretty much what, the first step, if they are caught, of course, it's picked up, and they can pick that up at the end of the day. The second time, the parents, and then the third time, they're not allowed to bring them anymore.
So, like, let's say in between classes, they can use their phone?
No, they cannot use them.
They can't pull it out of
So
school.
do we have enough staff to monitor that?
That they're not
To monitor that
using,
they're not using their phones?
well, I mean, there's teachers are at their doors, they're walking through that. I mean, we have 900 students, so we had to weigh, can we pick up 900 phones at the very beginning? Do you not want the phones there? And so I can, we even had meetings, with superintendents, and I can tell you about 85–90%. I only know of 2 districts that are picking them up. Most of them are putting them in their backpacks.
Wow. That's gonna be interesting.
But it's like anything else, like,
Yeah.
to monitor, it's very difficult. I know that some districts are using pouches to lock them and they carry them in there, but it's, like you said, it's difficult to.
And we decided not to because anybody can get on Amazon and get the thing that unlocks the pouch. I mean, you can order it and have it in your house in 3 days.
Well, it's the same thing, anybody can take the phone and use it right in and there. I mean, it's the same opportunity.
But I
It's gonna
remember,
be
I remember years ago, when my kids were in school, and my daughter Jennifer, I thought I was gonna strangle her. But she kept getting her phone picked up and I kept coming to pay $5 or $10 to get it. Wasn't it that way a long time ago? You couldn't have your cell phone.
The state does not allow us to charge anymore. They
Oh.
changed that.
That would be nice, that would be nice.
I know.
I know that.
Yeah, they used to, but
I paid you.
Now, a grant just came out on the 7th, and so we're able to apply for a grant, because it was unfunded until this grant came out. That gives you, because when we pick them up and we have them in the office, what are you gonna do with them? And so people are looking at different storage, areas there. But Harlingen, they did a great job. They had a video, and they talked about when you walk on campus, turn it off, put it in your backpack. They had a great video about how, the focus is, and so we're putting
I
some.
just wanna make a comment, for me, the teacher even at the elementary level, it's also a little bit hectic because the kids use it. But I had the opportunity, they have a contract and they make the parents, they read it with my son, I was there, he signs it and I sign it, and he's aware, you can bring no phone to, so even at the elementary, the kids are also,
Yeah.
it's a new generation of technology, yeah.
So we cannot say don't bring it.
It's not just phones, they can have earbuds, they can have
Smartwatches.
headphones, they can have
We can have a
smartwatches.
policy, don't bring a cell phone with you to our campus.
We could go with no cell phones at the campus. I mean, don't even bring it on campus.
But what about when you're done with athletics and you need to call your
Yeah.
mom?
Exactly, I know.
Yeah,
And they
there's,
say
there's so many pros and cons,
That's
yeah.
not gonna, that's not.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But what did they do before?
They use the office phone, or I don't know whose phone.
It gets crazy in the office.
And
It
during
does.
the day, they'll
I
have
really-
to use the office phone if
Yeah,
they need something.
yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
really think, that public education is just taking the easy way out. I mean, what is so hard to say no cell phones on campus, period? Nobody has to be monitoring or anything, they just don't come on campus.
You'd still have to monitor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they're still gonna bring 'em.
That's not- monitor.
Now,
But
I have
it's-
a quick question on, I mean, having the kids, you know, in school, they bring up all these different scenarios and, you know, like, I used to use my phone for this or that, my son said last year as a freshman in the high school, he's like, I don't know where any classrooms were, but the map was on a picture of my phone. Will we have maps at the high school, or can they pass out maps, or will they post maps or something? Cause like freshmen are like lost in the high school.
We can put maps if that's something
Yeah.
that,
Cause he's like, I'd have to look at my phone to see where this wing
Right.
was or that wing was, or.
tomorrow they're having that orientation, they're having it twice. I know they're doing it in the morning and the afternoon, so if that seems to be a concern, they can look at that, but I'll let them know about the maps, just to help them out.
I mean, cause I think the high school's more spread out. I mean, you might need it for other campuses too,
Right.
but at least for the high school, since it's so spread out.
Sixth grade is all gonna be in one wing, so I don't think you really need it there, and seventh and eighth grade pretty much already know, well, the seventh graders are new, so they won't know.
yeah,
But
this is for high
again, they're
school.
only in three, but yeah, for high school, we can have maps.
Well, at the high school, when I go, they say, oh, it's in the J wing, or it's in the, that's what I use, the letters.
Junior high or high school?
Junior high.
The junior high is that way? Okay.
Go ahead, Madam.
Okay. Any questions on the House Bill 1481 before we go on? Senate Bill 326 that amends the Education Code to address anti-Semitism in public schools. It requires schools to apply the definition of an anti-Semitism found in the Texas Government Code when determining whether a student's behavior violates code of conduct and was it motivated by anti-Semitism. So this one was really focused on that Senate Bill 326. And Senate Bill 569, it expands access to virtual and hybrid education in public schools. When we do consider placing a student, removing a student for expulsion, do we have virtual or hybrid education as an alternative? Such as if we don't have JJAP alternative, where we consider providing the services to our students. So that is something that we as a district would consider if we needed virtual or hybrid education.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Yes. What does that mean? Does that mean we have to provide a staff member to do that, or is it?
It's a virtual class, a virtual classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we were to
We
call
have to-
JJP and we have a mandatory expulsion and they cannot take them, then we're able to do the virtual.
Okay, but is this one?
It's kind of like that Texas state,
Oh, okay.
is it similar to that, ma'am, or
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
something different?
It is, and it also could be provided through us as
Oh,
well.
I see. Okay, thank you.
And it would be held to the same accountability
Right.
as regular
Right.
classroom.
Okay, thank you.
So based on these four, two House bills and two Senate bills, these were the majority of our changes through, for the student code of conduct. So we have to, present this student code of conduct to you for approval, for this coming school year.
Do you have a question on the 10 days of school suspension?
Yes.
How did the principals take to that? Were they, I mean,
They're okay,
They're okay with it?
yes.
Okay, I mean, I understand students can be a discipline problem. My concern is now 10 days, is that gonna affect the learning?
What requires it, what it now requires us is that if you're going to consider 10 days, we also have to put like a plan of action.
Oh, I see, okay.
We're not just gonna place them there and say, hey,
Busy work,
busy
right.
work, we have to look at progress. And if
Okay.
we're gonna if we're doing more than 10 days, then we have to look at,
I see.
at
So
other
they don't
short
get
ones.
behind, right?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Okay.
well, that sounds better.
Madam President, I move that we approve the student code of conduct for 2025-2026 school year.
I have a motion by Mrs. Johnson, and do I have a second? I have a second by Mrs. Martinez. It's been moved and seconded to approve the student code of conduct for the 25-26 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 6-0. The next item, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve budget amendment number 1 for the 25-26 school year.
Yes, good afternoon, President Castillo, board members, Superintendent Torres. We're bringing budget amendment number 1. It's a rollover budget, so what we're bringing specifically is for our police department. So when we budgeted for them for this current year, we only gave them about $35,000 in operating costs, and so this is some of the POs that they had to do back in June, but those services or those products, we didn't get them until after July first, so we have to pay them this year. So we're rolling over those POs and we have to increase our budget. And so the total that we're asking for is $44,302 with 22 cents.
And they had the money last year because we
Yes.
gave them startup cost, we just didn't get it in time.
Right, and a lot of these, and I think the big bulk of it was 29,000 for specific software that I believe all police departments have to have, where they have that's like a database for records management, I think for dispatch and all that. So they got different quotes, and that's only a one-time cost, because we didn't have it before. After that, it'll be about 7,000 or 8,000 per year.
Any questions of Mr. Cespedes? Do you have a motion?
Yes, Madam President, I move we approve the budget amendment number 1 for the 2025-2026 school year.
And do I have a second? A second by Mrs. Martinez. It's been moved and seconded to approve budget amendment number 1 for the 25-26 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 6-0. It is now 6:42 PM. And we are moving into closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551. It is now 7:07 PM, and we're now reconvening to open session, personnel matters. Let the record show that the superintendent approved of the resignations of the following: Jose A. Vela. And number 2, according to board policy BC local, the superintendent approved a 1-year probationary teacher contract for the following: Carla Landing, 1-year probationary contract; Rocky James, 1-year probationary dual contract; Victoria Cáceres, 1-year probationary contract; and Marcela Castillo Muñiz, 1-year probationary contract. Any district announcements?
Yes, ma'am. August 13th is our first day of school. The 14th of August, we have the ACE Parent Information Night at all campuses starting at 5:30. On the 19th of August, we have a board workshop for strategic planning. On the 21st of August, we have community meeting for strategic planning at 5:30. On the 22nd of August, we have Meet the Pride at Lion Stadium at 7 PM. August 25th, we have WB Green Middle School Open House from 5:30 to 7. On August the 26th, we have Senior Parent Night at La Feria Early College High School at 6 PM. September 2nd, La Feria Early High School Open House at 5:30. September 4th, Neighborhood Schools Open House at 5:30. The 5th of September, Lions versus Hidalgo football game. It's the homecoming game at 7 PM. And on the 8th of September, we have September regular school board meeting at 6.
Any questions of Ms. Ramos? If there's no other business, I'll motion to adjourn. A motion by Mr. Zambrano,
Second.
a second by Mrs. Martin, Mrs. Johnson. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 6-0. It is now 7:08 PM, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.